Okay, I'm here. I get a 5x5. Ethan there in the studio. Okay. See if I can figure this out here. Bear with me for a moment, folks. Aaron Rodriguez, hola. Ethan,
Hey, Christopher.
hello. Can you hear me
Hello, can
okay?
you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm looking at it, like half the screen on this little mobile device. I don't know. It's a different format since I last played around here. But I guess I could deal with it. If you can hear me okay, let's roll. I don't need to
The sound is a little quiet. I'm going to try my Bluetooth speaker, and if we don't get echo.
I have no echo. I can hear you just fine on my end.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like this Bluetooth is working. I can hear you. It's faint. Is there any way for you to turn your volume up?
Let me see. Bear with me for a moment, folks, while we work these things out. Hopefully, get everything going good.
I've got my volume up to full. And
it's on full. I don't have checked the automatically adjust mic volume. Maybe I should check that and try. And it's also on speakerphone. Maybe I should switch it to default.
And I've got a.
How about now?
It's the same. I have a very small circle of you and a very small circle of me in the center of my phone screen. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too, but it's only on half the screen. It's even worse than that.
and I'm also looking at what looks like a start arrow, and I'm wondering if I should push that. I'm gonna try.
Okay.
All right, it went away. The arrow went away, but
yeah, I don't know. I got a very small circle, and it's only on half the screen. But at least I can see the comments at the same time, because sometimes I can only view the screen, and I can't see the comments. So at least I got that going for me. I guess I don't need to look at our ugly mugs, as long as I can hear you.
Right.
But let me see some of these other. Bear with me here, folks. Let's see. I had the intro music going, but let's see. I could change the background here, but it's still the same small circles.
The guys were in a stream I listened to recently. Were talking about the changes, the recent changes made to StreamYard. He was having issues during the live stream trying to work things out like you are, but he was happy for the improvements, but struggling how to figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah, I guess I could deal with this as long as you can hear me. I guess I could deal with it. Because I got it cranked all the way up. I don't know what else to try to adjust.
Yeah, no, the volume's good. It's the screen here. Oh, there you go. That got bigger.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Hey, that's something. Now, if I can go back to see the comments, I think I got something I can deal with here. Ethan's greetings. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Okay, I got the comments, man. I got you a little bigger. I think I'm gonna leave well enough alone here, as long as you can hear me good enough. NH Mountain Girl, all right, welcome. I got Ethan here with me from Citizen Science Oral Health Project, and I can't wait to see what he's gonna lay on us tonight. This man's just got all kinds of knowledge, and he's a man after my own heart, and I'm proud to have him here on my channel. And I'm going to leave it up to him how he wants to, introduce himself, because this may be the first of several parts, I hope, with this man.
Oh, well, wow. Okay, well, that'll be awesome. I think maybe my time has come. Because I am one of the most shadow banned men out on social media.
I think I'm right up there with you.
How many subscribers do you have on your channel, Chris?
3,000 something. And we had 11 in the house. We got I see now 8 in the house, but I don't really trust the reliability of that number. But we got
what kind of views? What kind of views do you typically get on your videos?
Well, the one video I got was I released it was an older video. When I ran off the road, my window got smashed out. That one got like 7,000, but that was mostly haters, and that was because some English channel, one of those sovereign citizen hate channels, featured that video. So I got a lot of haters in there, but I'd say on average I get a couple hundred maybe views.
Isn't that something? I've got over 700 subscribers on YouTube, and my videos will average like 25 views.
Well, you do put out a lot of them. I mean, to be fair, I try to catch them as much as I can. But how many videos do you have? Would you say?
Well, I'll have to.
NH Mountain Girl says, hey, Ethan. NH Mountain Girl says hello in the comments.
Who says hello?
NH Mountain Girl.
Hello, NH Mountain Girl.
You're not familiar with her? Yeah, check her out. I don't know how to drop links. If you could do that, you got a wrench. NH Mountain Girl, drop a link for yourself and Ethan. I'd appreciate that. And we got Escarlyn Rodriguez in the house. Yeah, she said, good to meet you, Ethan. How many videos do you think you got total, including lives, everything?
I'm powering up my second phone, and oh shoot,
you got to have 700 videos.
Yeah, I'm going to. Oh my goodness, how do I?
Yeah, bear with us, folks. We're working out some technical things here, and then we should be ready to roll. I think Ethan's got some things to tell us here. Yeah, if you could drop it, I'm not sure how to do it, NH Mountain Girl, so consider doing it on my behalf, if you could. Oh, you already did. Okay, great. Okay, good. Those of you that don't know, check her out, NH Mountain Girl. Man, she's one of my most loyal supporters. I meant for a little period, I didn't put out too much videos, but then when I do, There she is, showing support, NH Mountain Girl. Much love. But always good to see you, sister. Thank you. If you didn't check out the last one, I went YouTube live, not on the StreamYard, just before this. That's when Ethan and I decided to go live. And yeah, it was spitting some fire, if I do say so myself. I lost Ethan here. Let's see. Oh, Jordan Gurin, thanks for coming back. Jerk off. Wanna talk some more shit? Punk. Jordan Gurin, if that's your real name, I doubt it. Probably a public servant or I don't know what's worse, bootlicker or a low-life public servant. Northwoods Press, all right, brother. Woo-hoo! Woo fucking woo! In the house, Northwoods Press, NH Mountain Girl. Yeah, deal with this guy Jordan Gurin for me if you would, Wants to come in here talking all that shit. Not even his real name. Let's see, I got someone in this. Woo fucking woo. Let's see here. Man, they changed the stuff on StreamYard. I want to disconnect. I think it'll come up if I got somebody. I got the link. If anyone, you want to come on panel, NH Mountain Girl, Northwoods, you want to come on panel? Be an honor. I got the link in the comments here. And I lost Ethan from Citizen Science Oral Health Project. That was the purpose of the stream, but okay, got somebody in here. We got Ethan back. Okay. Add him to the stage. Take the pressure off of me for a little bit here.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Still got that red band. What business is it yours, Jordan Gurin? Don't hit the back button. I know, NH Mountain Girl. I know. I learned that one. I try not to. Oh, we got the red band. Yeah, and I got the window replaced too, motherfucker. What about it? Someone in here talking shit. The same guy from that last live. Seen you in the comments there. We got Northwoods Press in the house, NH Mountain Girl, and we got Ethan here with me from Citizen Science Oral Health Project. Gonna impart some wisdom on us tonight. Ethan, you wet your whistle. I'm gonna leave the floor to you, brother.
All right, yeah. So, anyways, I was talking about getting what my social media is and what my issues have been. My internet connection was copper. And the improvements that the platforms make, YouTube and Rumble, etc., exceeded my provider's ability, and so and then Verizon offers home internet tower to the phone, but the guy said it's selective. He said my parents get it, but the neighbor to the right can't, the neighbor to the left can't, and the neighbor across the street can't. He said, I'll check yours. He said, no, it's not available for you. And so I said, well, what kind of options I said, is there a cell phone booster? And la-di-da, I got a cell phone booster, a signal booster. That's what I'm using right now. And it looks like it's a clear picture. I don't know. I'm hoping it's feeding good and there's good clear picture. So I got rid of my internet. I got rid of the Wi-Fi, and my sleeps are average an hour longer. So, anyways, little bit of minutia there, but the reason I lost is I was trying to get my other phone active. So I can tell you on YouTube, Citizens Science Oral Health Project. I have 958 subscribers. I don't think they'll ever let me get to 1,000 or 1,200, whatever it takes to monetize. And that's not my ambition anyways. And there's 802 videos there. And where it says home or video, shorts, lives, posts, over to the right, most people might find a grayed out down arrow. And you need to touch that to get access to my videos. They hide my videos. They absolutely hide my videos, and they have press and suppress. And my reach has been very, very, very limited. And I've spent years reaching out all over the world to from all genres. All right, mainstream media, right? Like the Detroit News, CNN, NBC, ABC, all of this stuff, right? The cannabis channels, cannabis publications, cannabis news, patriots, truthers, and everybody runs from me. There's nobody that has a platform that has any kind of an audience. They've all refused to give me a platform, and so I'm very thankful for you for this opportunity to reach some people. And
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So I'll start here. Got
Northwoods House in the press, or Northwoods Press in the house. Excuse me. Must be all that dope I've been smoking. Ethan, you want to run by us what your message is that you feel has been been being blocked by the algorithm or whatever the hell you want to call it. And
well, it's more than that. It's
just assume that nobody here has ever heard of you. Tell us what you're about. And we got Northwoods House in the press. Northwoods, welcome.
So, I have enjoyed cannabis from the time of about 16 years old. I moved out of the house when I was 17, right after graduation. And so working hard and partying hard, and marijuana had been a big part of my life for all these years. Well, and when there was talk of a voter initiative for medical marijuana in Michigan, and then it passed, I was like, well, holy shit, that was simple. So because of my migraines, I easily qualified. And so then I got involved in a cannabis community, and I started learning all kinds of things I didn't know. I didn't know about THCA and CBN and CBG and the 160 known cannabinoids. I knew nothing about that. I knew nothing about cloning. I knew nothing about growing. I didn't know how to make hash. I didn't know how to make oil. So I'm beginning to learn all of these things, and so the voter initiative clearly said that we have dispensaries, we have seed, we have plants, we have clones, but the state took the position that you cannot have dispensaries, you cannot have seeds, you cannot have plants. And so good luck with your medical marijuana. So for years here in Michigan, the only dispensaries that operated with the grace of the prosecutor. And so there were very few prosecutors that were allowing dispensaries in their counties. And Ann Arbor has been liberal. When I was in high school, an ounce of marijuana in the city of Ann Arbor was a civil infraction. That's it. It's like a parking ticket. An ounce of marijuana or less. So Ann Arbor had been very liberal all these years. And the prosecutor in Ann Arbor allowed the dispensaries. So Ann Arbor was one place that had dispensaries. And That's Washtenaw County. I was living in Livingston County, right next door. So, it's a 30-minute drive for me to get to Ann Arbor. And a lot of the guys that I knew that dealt with cannabis had been black market for years and years and years and years. So they were very happy with medical marijuana because now they can grow the plants. They can get 5 patients, 12 plants a patient, plus 12 for them. They can grow 72 plants. But they were very, very hesitant to be dealing with dispensaries. And I wasn't growing. I didn't have a place to grow. So an opportunity came for me to be a broker. And so I had 5 patients, and I was a patient. So as a caregiver, I could carry something like a pound. So I'd go visit a farmer. I'd pick up a pound. I'd pay him what made him happy. I'd go to the dispensary, and I'd get paid what made me happy. And so this kind of opened up a whole new life for me. Well, I learned how to do a Rick Simpson oil extraction. And then I started doing a lot of it. And then I advanced it. And I watched a couple of men get younger before my eyes using the oil that I was producing from material that they were providing. I watched them get younger and healthier, and it was amazing to me. So this really intrigued me, and so I'm using it on myself for various things, and very happy with the positive outcomes. Well, the world economic collapse got me caught with my pants down. I was involved in a lot of business. I was stretched in a lot of ways, and I lost it all. I lost everything. I lost the house. I'm still raising children. My businesses all failed, all my credit. I had American Express with a $30,000 limit and a zero balance, and they shut the account down. I mean, they just clamped down on everything. So I'm like, shit, I got to do something. And I found a piece of property up north on a land contract, and I came up here, and I decided I'm going to do what I can in the cannabis business. And at that point in time, my oral health was in extremely bad shape. My gums were bleeding. They were heavily receded. I was very long in the tooth. My teeth were loose. I was miserable. So I wanted to know, will cannabis give me a healing inside the way I see the healings on the outside? And son of a bitch, I had amazing results. So plaques are formed by saliva, carbohydrates, and bacteria. There's a bad bacteria. It starts with an S. I can't pronounce it, but that's what caused the plaque. The plaque is a breeding ground for the bacteria. The plaque is sticky, and this is what causes the poor oral health. And nighttime is the worst. Is the worst time for your oral health. And if you're a mouth breather, that's really bad. Well, I was a mouth breather because I had all kind of sinus problems, which I now know were related to my dead teeth, my root canal teeth. And so I was a mouth breather. So I had extensive plaque. A dental pick was a part of my life. And so I would scrape the plaque off of my teeth on a daily basis. Well, after using my formulations for a while, I'm gonna get a drink of coffee here. After using my formulations for a while, my gums felt much better. They actually grew and covered all the exposed root except for the rot. I had decay where the tooth changes from to the root. Like all my upper teeth were like that. And so my gums grew back, the plaque was gone, the bleeding was gone. I got a little bit of money. I got to a dentist. I got my teeth all fixed, and my gums looked fantastic with the exception of one area. And so I want to know why. I'm asking why. Why does this one area look so horrible? Well, I know now that was a tooth that got a crown, and then the nerve died, and nobody ever checked it for decades. And this tooth was so infected that because you got 2 to 6 miles of tubal in the root of every tooth, depending on the size of the tooth. Some people say up to 9 miles.
Christopher.
What's that, Northwoods?
I said, woo fucking woo, Christopher, Ethan. Good to see you guys.
Woo,
I'm smoking a bowl right now.
Good to be seen.
Oh, yeah.
thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for joining us.
I'm glad
Good to hear your voice, man.
You too,
Ethan,
brother.
Get where you left off, man. Pick back up. Woo fucking woo, Northwoods. NH Found Girl. Woo fucking woo.
That's right. Love you guys. I'm here.
You can hang out with us for a bit still.
I'm going to hang in with you for a bit. I'm listening.
Right on, man.
Okay.
Ethan,
So
it's all yours, man.
So at any rate, you've got that 2 to 6 miles of tubal, and Dr. Thomas Levy is a heart surgeon. He finds oral plaques in the high pressure ventricle of 90% of his patients. He claims that he's the one who taught me there's 2 to 6 miles of tubal where bacteria can fit 5 side by side. And that bacteria will morph into extremely toxic, lethal bacteria. And the immune system is gone in the tooth. When the nerve is there, you have flow out through those tubals. It keeps them clean. But when the nerve is dead, there's no flow. So not only bacteria, but fungus can live in those tubals. And he teaches us that when it's in a molar, the immense pressure from chewing is more effective than a syringe at delivering these toxins directly into the lymphatic system, and can be a cause of virtually any inflammatory condition. And he finds oral plaques in the high pressure ventricle of 9 out of 10 of his heart attack patients that he does surgery on. So that's simply from the tubals. When you have the nerve die, now you've got that huge nerve cavity along with your 2 to 6 miles of tubal. And so this tooth caused me to suffer all my toxic teeth, caused me so many chronic conditions. I have now recovered from over 40 chronic conditions. I did a talk.
Can you explain that 2 to 6 miles? It kind of blows my mind.
In the root of every tooth. Do your own research. And look, I don't want anybody to believe me, because I don't believe anything. I do not believe anything. I will not believe anything. I'm never going to believe again in my life. And so I'm not asking any of you to believe me. You do your research. You do your investigation.
Fair enough.
Trust must be earned.
I wasn't questioning what you're saying. I was just
no. But I didn't take it that way. I just want to explain it, okay? Because I'm going to say a lot. I've got a lot to say. If you're giving me the opportunity, man, I got a lot to say.
Carry on.
And so I say, do your own research. But I'm a straight shooter.
Fair enough. Carry on.
All right, so yeah, 2 to 6 miles of tubal, that'll blow you away. Bacteria can sit 5 side by side. So my website, maybe you can put it in the chat for the people, www.oralhealthwithcannabis.com. And cannabis is CANNABIS, oralhealthwithcannabis.com. On the homepage, you can find a link for Dr. Thomas Levy, and you can listen to Dr. Thomas Levy. He's written all kind of books. He's done all kind of videos, but this video, he is giving a lecture at an international oral health conference. He's a heart surgeon. He's blistering these poor bastards. And I listened to that video many times, and every time, and I'm listening for every little detail, but it seemed like I'd watch it a second time, a third time, a fourth, and a fifth, and I would get information that I didn't get previously. So at any rate, Dr. Thomas Levy is really great for explaining about the tubals, the bacteria, the fungus, directly into the lymphatic system, more effective than a syringe, all of that, the cause of 9 out of 10 heart attacks. That's pre-mitochondria from the Jabberdewey, right? So, and then can be a cause of virtually any inflammatory condition. So I suffered migraine headaches for decades, over 3 decades, an average of 1 a week, absolutely debilitating migraine, and the next day I'm down with a migraine hangover. And I'm a businessman. I got contracts that are depending on me. I've got employees that are depending on me. I got a family that's depending on me. And once a week, I lose a day. So that I tell you, and this is all absolutely unnecessary. So every root canal tooth is a toxic tooth. Dr. Thomas Levy has the science on this. Don't believe me, do your own research. However, I will make a caveat. I heard something here in recent months about a root canal procedure that does not create a toxic tooth, but apparently nobody knows about this. Nobody's doing it. No one's talking about it. I heard one conversation and no verification. So at any rate, every root canal tooth is a dead tooth, is a toxic tooth, and is making you sick. It is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 factory that never shuts down. It doesn't take breaks. It doesn't take holidays. It doesn't take vacations. It is constantly poisoning us. And the American Dental Association, you might as well call it the British Dental Association, because it's put together by bar attorneys. So the ADA is British organized, British operated, and British run. Think about that. The ADA, the AMA, the American Heart Association, any of these associations in America are British organized, British run, and British operated, British run, and British organized. So I'm gonna pair off here for a second. About 15 years ago, there were billboards on the highway here in Michigan. Leading cause of death, medical errors. Well, today I find articles, leading cause of death, prescription drugs, properly prescribed, properly filled, and properly taken is the leading cause of death. Third leading cause of death, psychiatric drugs, properly prescribed, properly filled, and properly taken. So what's the second leading cause of death? What happened to medical errors? And so where is heart attack, cancer, and stroke, right? So this is how disgusting the system is on that front, on the dental and medical front. And comprehend, it's the British. It's the damn British. And at any rate, so back in I moved up here into Kalkaska around 2010. By 2013, I opened up a dispensary, a provisioning center is what I called it, the 131 Provisioning Center. And out in the middle of nowhere, not in the city, not in the village, out in the middle of nowhere. My first day, nothing. A $5 sale. It took a long time to build up a business. But by 2015, I had a pretty darn good business going. And I was talking to my customers about my formulations and my oral health. And one of my farmers said, Ethan, I've been talking to my dentist and we'll put your claims to the test. Now, I only knew this guy because he's a farmer for my shop. I had no previous relationship with him. I didn't know his dentist. Anyways, he goes to the dentist. He's got his teeth brushed, flossed, chews a plaque disclosing tablet, and the dentist takes pictures in the office. He uses the mouth rinse for a month. He goes back to the dentist. The majority of the plaque is gone. At this point, he brings me the pictures and he tells me the dentist's position is she really can't say anything. She doesn't want to say anything good about it right now because some of the pocket depths have increased. And well, did they really increase, or was there some gum tissue rejuvenation, or was there plaques releasing down where, and that is a touch thing. That is a feel thing. So that's not a real hard science. That's a touchy-feely thing. At any rate, I got those pictures in my hand for about 2 weeks, and here comes the deep state. Here comes the deep state. And that's when my life went to hell. My life went to hell with the world economic collapse. And I rebuilt my life, and then this happens. And I've been living in hell ever since. So coming up here, December 15th, 2025, will be 10 years since the raid. Now, when they raided me, they shut down my business. They took all my cash. They froze my bank account. They took my guns. They took my vehicles, and they hit me with lawfare. Right? They take everything from me, put me out of business. Now I got to be spending money on an attorney. And it was all because they can't have this, you see. It was written in the United States National Library of Medicine, and probably still is. If you have lost gum tissue, it's gone forever, and it's never coming back. And Colgate was advertising with that. So what happened with court? The prosecutor at that point in time decided that there would be no charges. They took everything, but decided there would be no charges. So now it's like the second week in January, and I decided I want out of here. And Washington State was offering a marijuana research license And so I got my ass out to Washington State, and I connected with the city council. They had a meeting, and there was a guy there from the Pacific Coast Economic Development, and so I started networking with him. I got in touch with the licensing authority. He got me in touch with a senator and a congressman, and I got in touch with Ethan Russo. Ethan Russo is he's a pharma cannabis gatekeeper piece of shit is what he is. But I didn't know that at the time. He was very highly respected, very knowledgeable, and so. By February, Washington State decided to repeal the license for cannabis research. I find myself back in Michigan in March. I think it was April. They came and kidnapped me, put me in cuffs, kidnapped me, charged me with all kind of shit. With regards to the raids, when they said there would be no charges. Well, when I was out in Washington State, I found a biochemical patent attorney, and I filed patent on my formulations. So when I came back to Michigan, I was very close to a patent pending position. The application hadn't been filed yet. The patent attorney's working on it. So they arrest me. Now I got to deal with court. Well, what a kangaroo court that was. The attorney that I had given thousands of dollars to was there for the day of court, and that courtroom was packed. They had all kinds of cases they had to deal with regards to the raids, and because they arrested a lot of people, they decided to, because they busted a bunch of dispensaries here, and but I had to be out in the hall. I couldn't be in the courtroom, and they're trying case after case. Then my attorney walks out of the courtroom with my former employee from my provisioning center, walks up to me and says, "You don't need me," and walks away. Now all the cases have been tried. The courtroom is empty. The only one in there is the judge, the bailiffs, the court recorder, and the prosecutor, and me and my wife. And so how are they conducting court when I have no representation? Right now, and I'm a pure slave at this point in my life. I knew nothing about nothing. I'm a pure, absolute slave, dumber than a box of rocks. And I should have known to have some kind of a mistrial declared or something, because they're proceeding. In fact, the prosecutor took me out in the hall and threatened me. Well, I eventually got past all of that, but that was only the beginning of the targeting. That was only the beginning of the targeting. And it has gone on all of this time. And so 2017, I wrote a research proposal. A group of Canadians that were in the cannabis business, had been in the cannabis business for quite some time, were setting up in Jamaica. They had 16 million in private investment. 16 million in private investment. And the United States government decided to freeze their bank accounts shortly after they committed to me. Now, nobody related that to me at that point in time. They didn't, and I didn't. But it took them a year to get over it. It took them a year to get over it to the point where they could get me to Jamaica. And once I got to Jamaica, well, things started going bad for this group. And I'm there on my dime. I'm there on my dime. And I'm not supposed to be there on my dime, but I'm there on my dime. And so got there in January, came back in June, because the licensing authority decided to change the rules on everything, right? The security fencing was no good. The security cameras were no good. The housing facility was no good. But again, see, this was all the United States government. The British, they got their hand all around the world. So I came back June 2019, less than $100 in my pocket, and really, really in a bad way. Well, a lot has transpired between then and now. After years of pursuing the patent, I got and spending a lot of money. I got a final office action, patent denied, from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Final action, office action, patent denied. And so this didn't set well with me, especially because with an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, I had entered into, I found a man who was a cannabis guy. He was a genius. He was I think scientist, maybe scientist is wrong, but definitely he's a patent attorney. He's a cannabis guy. He's a patent attorney. There was something else. At any rate, the detailed response I got from him was, you are on your way to issue and you have multiple patents in your original filing to pursue. So I got this final office action from the patent office, patent denied. I called my patent attorney and I explained this to him. And I said, I don't think I'm on a level playing field. He says, you're not. Oh, really? I'm not. He says, sometimes a phone call can take care of situations like this. After I had time to think about it, I'm talking months and months, maybe even years later, thinking, in situations like this is some kind of a common occurrence. So sometimes a phone call can take care of situations like this, but it'll be a very expensive phone call. Well, he made the phone call. I made the call to bite the bullet and spend more money. He made the phone call. I got notice of allowance for the patent. All right, now I need more money. And I'm really struggling. And I qualified for the pandemic insurance. As an independent contractor affected by the pandemic, I qualified. And so I had no income to report. I wasn't making any money. Businesses operate sometimes for years losing money, right? So I qualified as an independent contractor. I was getting the pandemic money. So I had a little bit of money. I had money to pay for the issue fee, a couple of grand. I had money to pay for the continuation application, which had to be filed before the patent issued. And then after the patent issues, I've got about a year and a half to file the PCT, which is what gives me international patent rights, and a timeline of about a year and a half. But that had to be paid very close to the time of issue. It had to be paid before issue. So now I feel like I've won. So I'm on the phone. I'm pure slave. Haven't learned a thing yet. Absolute idiot, but I'm very happy. And at this point, I have no real idea of the attack that has been put on me. And so I'm calling around cannabis attorneys. And of course, in Ann Arbor, there should be some good ones. I find a couple. Well, what did they do? They conspired to F me out of the international patent. So my patent attorney worked with them to make this happen. They gave me a check for $1,500. They said, we got to take care of you. So we don't want you talking to anybody. And nothing ever happened, right? Except they got in a fraud, which means they got, truly they got nothing. But in their world, they got 50% of my intellectual property. And then when the realization comes that the patent is issued and there's no PCT, the emails that these attorneys sent me, I mean, long paragraphs, trying to gaslight me and make me do something where they could send the authorities over here to go throw me in a cage where I could die, right? But that didn't happen. I was too smart for their game, and I'm just going to keep on keeping on and collecting evidence. So, at any rate, I have not had an evaluation on my mouth rinse in years. I have had very few evaluations of my mouth rinse, but you can see 3 of them on the website. That's oralhealthwithcannabis.com on the homepage. If you're on a phone looking at it, hold it horizontal or the pictures will distort. If you look at it vertical, the pictures are distorted. You can see gum tissue rejuvenation. You can see calcified plaque removal. And on the bottom of the homepage, you can see my cannabis formulations work as a sunscreen. Non-euphoric, non-toxic, doesn't wash off, very effective as a sunscreen. So, at any rate, where am I in the story here? There is tons and tons and tons. Back in, about the time that I learned that I didn't get the PCT, and I'm in kind of a dark spot in my life. I'm listening to this guy, David Jose, and David Jose he's probably one of the best constitutional teachers to a point. And then he's not worth a shit because he'll never talk about assemblies. He's a gatekeeper. A bunch of good shit, get you so far, get your money, and but even with that knowledge, the people have to stand up. But at any rate, Jose had some very interesting paperwork that Matt DePerno adopted. Matt DePerno was an attorney, bar agent, running for attorney general here in Michigan. And Matt DePerno, the only change he made in this paperwork, which was several pages, was to add a couple of words where it talked about arbitration. And he added the words, will be binding. Well, arbitration is binding. That really didn't change any material matter in that paperwork. And Matt DePerno facilitated 40,000 of these affidavits with regards to the issues surrounding the selection process. That gave me a lot of confidence in that paperwork. And my father-in-law was an attorney, and I had a business partner for a long time who was an attorney. And I did my own paralegal work in some cases that I had to deal with. So I adopted Dave Jose's paperwork, but I improved it. Like I improved Rick Simpson oil. I improved it. I put in discovery. I put in claims and held court using postal mechanics and the judicial process. That is the highest court. That is the highest court. It's a lawful court. And I started holding court with the likes of Gretchen Whitmer. Gretchen Whitmer, husband, was a dentist. Gretchen Whitmer's husband decided to close his dental practice when Gretchen became governor because he was scared for his life. He didn't have security like Gretchen, so he's going to pull down the shingle, close up his business. All right, so anyways, that's a side note because, I talked with Gretchen's people, and it was years later when I learned her husband was a dentist. But, held court with Gretchen. Gretchen admitted to warring on the people. That's probably the first time that bitch has ever been in a court of law in her life. And she's a bar card carrying bitch, right? So, at any rate, I did the same with the head of the USPTO, the head of the DEA. In fact, I put a class action on a DEA. I gave them remedy. If they fail to the remedy, then it's $10 a day for every American, not for me, but for you. $10 a day for you for every day you're denied oral health with cannabis. And $100,000 a day for every man imprisoned for cannabis. Right? Violent crime, that's separate, right? If it's cannabis and violence, that's different. But cannabis, you got people sitting in prison for 30 years over a joint. So the head of the DEA, the head of the USPTO, judge, sheriffs, judges, sheriffs, doctors, a lot. And now I've been trying to talk with the sheriff here at Kalkaska for a long time. And he dodged me. So anyways, one day I said, oh, fuck it. I packed my briefcase. I went and I said, I'm not leaving. And I said, if I have to, I'll sit here all day. If he gets a minute, I'll get a minute. They go, it doesn't work that way. I mean, they were nasty. And no witness, no man would go and stand witness. This is the fear. This is the fear. Nobody wants to be targeted the way that I'm targeting. So not one man would come and stand witness. A lot of time passed. Eventually, they said the undersheriff will meet with you. A little bit later, a guy came out. It's the jail sergeant. I spent 2.5 hours, I think, with that jail sergeant, but my phone only had enough capacity to capture about 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, but it ended perfectly because I had 48 state constitutions with me, along with all of my court cases. And I'm there as prosecutor. And early on, I tried to give the paperwork to the jail sergeant. He's refusing. He's not going to take it. You know, I'm not prosecutor. No, I'm not prosecutor. He's not taking my stuff. No, I am prosecutor. Anyways, we're going to talk about this. So, I went through my case with the patent attorney, which exposes the patent office and the corruption. I have emails. I'm a very good detective. I'm a very good gumshoe. I have email correspondence from the patent office examiner sent on 9/11, from the patent office examiner to my patent attorney, wanting me to remove all my claims, and he is proposing a claim that he is confident that will issue. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but certainly my patent attorney did. It's a poison. I couldn't comprehend biochemical patentees. I had patent experience. I had patentees experience, but biochemical was all new to me. It was all French. And still, my world is a mess. It has been because of all of this. So, I have the email records. I have the phone transcripts. I have all the evidence of the Michael Mueller from the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the examiner in charge of my case, and my patent attorney colluding to work against me, which they did for years. Build me till final office action, patent denied. So I have all these court cases. And I went through the one with the jail sergeant on with the patent attorney. And I got 48 state constitutions there. Now, all of the state constitutions that I found, none of them were original. None of them were original. They all had barfuckery in them. But very interesting reading. This is a place where you can find your quote unquote rights that have been written down as such, so to speak. Okay, so. And so in that mindset, in the mindset of a republic, in the mindset of common law across the common land, you can't have a right in Florida that you don't have in California, that you can't have in Texas. No, it's common law across the common land. 3 of the state's constitutions. One of them is Georgia. I think the other one is Alabama. But 3 of the state constitutions talk specifically about your right to prosecute your cause in any court in the state. In any court, in any tribunal. So there I am at the sheriff's office. Sheriff refuses to meet with me. Undersheriff refuses to meet with me. They send a jail sergeant out. Spent 2.5 hours with him. On YouTube, Own Your Authority, Part 10. I should look it up. At any rate, it's hard to find. It's hard to get. Even I have a hard time pulling my YouTube videos up. But maybe in another episode, I'll play the end of it. And you can listen to the jail sergeant tell me from those state constitutions that I have the right to prosecute my own cause. So the way that meeting, so that's before the 20-minute mark. And so I really about 2.5 hours with the guy, I think. And it ends with him holding his hands out like this. And I got a stack of court cases, and I got 48 state constitutions. He puts his hands out and he takes it all. So I had a case for the sheriff, because if the sheriff met with me, I don't know how he's going to respond. And if he's going to be a total dirtbag, he's getting served too. Well, he was a total dirtbag. So after the jail sergeant has this huge file in his hand, I reach in the briefcase and I pull out a case and serve the sheriff right there in the Kalkaska County Sheriff's lobby. Now, it was a long time after this, like a year and a half. I need to know how to spell Perot. Mike Perot, the Kalkaska County prosecutor who prosecuted me. I'm doing some writing or something. I need to know how to. So I said, okay, well, search Kalkaska County prosecutor. Son of a bitch, come to find out, see, he was served too. He was served. And you remember the kangaroo court? You remember prosecuting me without an attorney present? You remember him taking me out in the hall and threatening me? And there's more. He was served. He was served that day. So it's like a year and a half later, I'm searching how to spell his name. It's a hard name to spell, Perot. Come to find out, he resigned less than a month. I think I was there June 28th, and before the end of July, the man who prosecuted me boot scoot boogied in the middle of his third term. A man tough on crime. Came up with some BS excuse about money. You know, money's no object for those guys. They're getting into the till everywhere they can, right? No, he was scared shitless. And that was the same time period when the FBI was like 12 different agency personnel all converging here in Michigan. 12 different FBI departments converging here in Michigan and entrapping Michigan men in some bullshit made up conspired FBI plot to capture Gretchen Whitmer. And the FBI was here. I know they were here one day when I was gone. And I'm confident that they were into Kalkaska to talk with the people in Kalkaska, the sheriff and prosecutor and such, right? And I'm thinking all of that combined is what got the prosecutor to decide to boot scoot boogie. And then a couple months later, the jail sergeant and the entire jail staff vacate. I had no idea I had that power, and nobody told me. I had the power to make the prosecutor resign. I had the power to get for the jail sergeant to talk with all the jail staff, and they all resigned. And so Patrick Whiteford, Kalkaska County Sheriff, I call him Pat Fuckford, and his deputy Wagner, I call him Wagon Tails. Fuckford and Wagon Tails had to move all the inmates to another facility. And nobody told me. Nobody told me. So, man, a lot has happened. So, I'm there as prosecutor, and that went as far as that went. So my next move was to create another case, postal mechanics, and the judicial process. I wrote up paperwork, and I put the garrison commanders from Camp Grayling in my court. And at that time, I had gotten hooked up with the People's Bureau of Investigation. And we went live on YouTube. We arranged a call to Camp Grayling, and they were expecting our call. And we went live on YouTube and called over to Camp Grayling to talk with these garrison commanders because they had failed. I gave them all the court cases, including the Kalkaska County Sheriff. And while they're in court, presented the evidence of Gretchen Whitmer warring on the people, the fuckery of the DEA and the USPTO, and the bar agents, and ordered them to readiness and report for duty. Well, the garrison commanders wouldn't get on the phone. They put a flunky on the phone. Was Tim or Rob? One of them read paperwork to the guy. And then he ended the thing by saying, I've got a Christmas party to go to. I got to go. I got a Christmas party to go to. That was his attitude. Well, I can tell you all three of those garrison commanders have been replaced. That's something, I don't know when that happened, but they have all been replaced. And so one thing in the paperwork, if you guys have ever done notices, you'd be familiar with notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent. Well, there's more to add to that I wish that I had added. I didn't know it at the time. Notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent is notice to successors, substitutes, stand-ins, and replacements. So since all three garrison commanders have been replaced, I now wish I had had that on my paperwork. But it is what it is. So now about that time, the People's Bureau of Investigation had met a guy by the name of Thomas D. Murphy. And Mr. Murphy's elderly gentleman. He's probably 10, 15 years my senior. And he had, by happenstance, discovered a way to purify discharge water at the source. In other words, you can keep reusing the same water. Your dishwater, your laundry water, your toilet water, all of it. He came up with a way to purify it and make it potable. Has the minerals, good, healthy, clean water right at the source. So this, of course, we can't have that. We can't have clean, healthy water. We need sewage, right? We need all this sewage, all these treatment plants, all the chemicals that are pissed in there, all these pharmaceuticals that are pissed in there, all the estrogen that's in there, all the shit. That's what we need. We can't have clean, healthy, potable water. No. So Mr. Murphy had spent decades literally going through the whole gamut. He learned, the sovereign citizen thing, and, he fought that battle probably as good as anybody could have fought it at the time. There was nothing, but what he grabbed onto, was an act of Congress, I think from 1972, where Congress established a separate judicial jurisdiction of environmental court. And so what Tom did was he used that congressional act to create an environmental court. And I tell you, the guy did a bang up job of what he did. And so now the People's Bureau of Investigation is purely focused on the environmental court. And Tim, the guy who put the PBI together, messages me, says, I made you admin. He made me admin on a Telegram channel, and the rule is delete any post that is not about the environmental court. So here I am involved with the People's Bureau Investigation. I have been assigned a moderator to the Telegram channel and basically told I can't talk about my work. And so anyways, this thing developed with the People's Bureau Investigation and the Environmental Court, and people engaging became process servers for the court. And this was done registered mail, and registered mail is expensive, $18 to $25, $28 per mailing. And some of these people were trying to do 10 a day. And these are going to mayors, governors, these kind of people. Some higher profile people. And someone came into the chat one day and talked about 2-cent mail. And that led me into some research. And so there was some congressional fuckery that created 2-cent mail forever, 2 cents per half ounce of mail, never to increase. And but that's not going to get you registered mail. And I don't know. It's hard for me to remember too much, but I figured something out. I know, but I hadn't figured it out. I had learned, and I said, okay, I got to test this. Postage paid registered mail. Postage paid registered mail. So I went to the post office, and I facilitated postage paid registered mail. I got the 3806. I got the register receipt. That mailer went through distribution center to distribution center to distribution center, all the way from Michigan, Kalkaska, Michigan, to Kingsland, Texas, to the environmental court, where Thomas D. Murphy took a picture of it and sent me the picture. I put a return card on it. The return card came back to me with the postal stamp. Do tracking shows delivered. So I'm teaching this. I'm asked to teach this. I make a PDF. I'm making videos. I'm doing talks. And people in the environmental court are sending out postage paid registered mail. However, they put a twist in it because they wanted to keep it anonymous. So the return address on the mailer, one of the options was to put the home address of the recipient. So if somebody was to send it to Gretchen Whitmer, say, it would go to, addressed to the business address for the state for Gretchen. But in the return area, it would be her home address, right? So if they're going, no, we're not going to deliver this. We're going to return it. They're going to return it there. The return card was to be addressed from the environmental court. So the return card would get sent to the environmental court. So ultimately what happened was the process servers put their paperwork in the mailer, addressed it accordingly, made the proper markings for postage paid, and the seals for the mail, the 3806, the servers kept the top copy, which you're supposed to. That's what you would get back. That's what I got back, was a top copy. And the carbon copy gets tucked in with the return card. And then they take it to the post office and put it in a box outside the post office. But it had to be a post office, not a United States Postal Service office. And all the post office have United States Postal Service employees inside. They're the ones operating it. But if on the outside of the building it said post office, that's what they were looking for. So all of a sudden, we got postage paid registered mail going out like crazy. And these are, what's the word? Amicus briefs. Amicus briefs being sent out. This is serious stuff. And then it started getting ugly. So there became an issue of the green card and the pink card. And so truly the card to use would be the pink card, because that's international. So the post office pulled pink cards from online ordering. So up until that point, you could get anything from the post office, the green card, the pink card, the stamps, on and on. Whatever you could get from the post office, you could get it online, the packages. But they removed the pink cards, and they made it very difficult. And then some of these that were getting served were calling the post office of origin and coercing them to break into the safe, because these 3806s are to be secured in a safe. So then, whoever is looking for this information then contacts policy enforcement, and you got guys with badges knocking on these process servers' doors, asking them questions, right? And so, this got real ugly. And ultimately, one of the process servers was arrested, and the postage paid registered mail kind of came to an end, and the whole environmental court started coming to an end about this point. Now, this woman wasn't arrested because of postage paid registered mail. It was some bullshit, I think, about a threat. So this little old lady, all she wants is clean water. Well, she probably wanted a lot more than that, but in this particular case with the environmental court, what she wants is clean water. So she's arrested, and I can't remember what state, but Tim was in Illinois, and anyways, he got in his motorhome. He went down there. He met with the husband. He went to the FBI. He really fought, and then the FBI arrested him. And I don't know, it might be right now. It's very close. It's this time period. It was the Christmas time period. No, Yes, it was the Christmas time period. Absolutely. So I don't know if it was just before or just after, but he's coming up on 3 years. 3 years he's been incarcerated. And Tom D. Murphy, the inventor and the man who put together the environmental court, he was in poor health and in the hospital. They pulled the FBI. Apparently, the way I hear the story, they pulled Tom out of the hospital and he was dead within 30 days. So this is what they want to do to me. They want me behind bars or dead. That's what they want with me. And so the attacks are international, right? I mean, banking. They shut down Canadian banking. They shut down the Jamaican business. And so where do I want to go from here? There's so much, but I want to, there's a few points I want to make. From the time of Camp Grayling, I think that was 2020. I think that was 2020. I don't think it was 21, but it might have been 21. 23, we're going to jump forward here. 23, I'm almost positive it was 23. I decided, I comprehended that there is no court of law for Americans. There is no court of law for Americans. The only courts that exist are administrative, and they're a fraud. They have a mutilated flag. That flag stands for no nation and no constitution. It has a yellow fringe around it. It has a tassel. And what's on the standard? Is it a bird with wings out? Wings out, that's executive. Then you got wings up and wings down. What's on top? Or a ball, or a spire. People got to learn flag law. If we knew flag law, we would know that is not a Title IV flag. That's not an American flag. That's a British flag, and those are administrative courts. And you don't know if you're in with the Vatican or you're in there with the bankers or you're in there with the government. You have no idea, but they're all bar agents and they're all there to fuck you over. So I came to the comprehension that there is no court of law for the American people. And here in more recent times, I've come to the conclusion that the word law is Babylonian fuckery. Babylonian fuckery. There was probably a time when it was court of land, air, and water. So when this whole conversion thing, went into high force, 1871, 1877, 1878, like that, that's when the military mutilated the flag and paraded it to say, we, the United States military, are now warring on the American people. We are slaving the American people. We are using the American people to war on the American people, and we are warring on the people of the world, and we are parading our British flag. That's what the United States military did. The United States military has been rogue since 1871. All right, so I decided that the American people need a court of law, a court of land, air, and water, a high court, the people's court, a court without a British flag. And so I decided I'm going to give the American people a land location for a court of law, and I intend to operate in that court. I invited all of America to be here. So about 2 months time talking about it, doing YouTube videos, and preparing everything for the court, getting the Sheriff Fat Buckford and Under Sheriff Wagentails, Judge Lynn M. Buttday, Chief of Police, Village Chief of Police, Poopy Pants Popa, Ziggy, the new prosecutor, and Deb Hill, the court clerk, and the Kalkaska County postmaster. They all got served, registered mail, called to court. And I invited all of America. I invited all of America to be here. I had a grand total of 5. 5 people. 2 men came out here from Pennsylvania. 3 people from Kalkaska showed up. Now, the men from Pennsylvania, one of them had been following me on Telegram for probably the better part of 2 years. And he was a few years older than me, and 10 years retired from the Outlaws, the biker club, the Outlaws. He was a 1%er. The man who came with him was also from the Outlaws, in a sense that he was a bastard child. His mother was a whore. He didn't know who his father was, and he was a veteran. I'm thinking Marine. I'm pretty sure Marine. And they were here for days, and had set up a tent. They had a nice like 2-3 room tent, a huge tent. But the temperatures were dropping down in that time of year, summertime, into the 40s at night. And so Reb decided he was going to sleep in here. And Chase decided he's going to sleep in a tent. And so what happened was, the next day was court. This is the eve of the day of court. And shortly after midnight, Chase is on the phone in the tent talking with his woman when he picks up a sound that's not right. He knows it's not right. His training kicked in. There's something that is not right. It's not an animal. The snort that he heard, what he ultimately came down to was probably a cough, a muffled cough. You know, somebody had to cough like this. Anyways, so his instincts kick in, and so he's starting to tell his woman how tired he is, what an exhausting day it's been. He's ready to go to sleep. The whole time, he's moving stealthily inside that tent towards the door. And so he says goodbye and, you know, makes it sound like he's going to sleep, and he sneaks out. Well, he ended up taking a shot. He ended up taking a shot, and I've got the casing. So there was a hit team here. We know that. There's no doubt about it. And they came, when they pulled into driveway, they pulled off into the deep weeds. So their tracks were very obvious, huge, wide tires. And we know that there was at least 2 of them, because right after this incident I explained here, shot fired. Now he's got my attention, the Rev's attention. The next thing I know, Rev and Chase, they're suited up. They got their tactical armor on. They got their assault weapons. They got their high-powered flashlights, and they're out there scoping things out. I'm in the middle of 40 acres, about a quarter mile off the road. And all I had was one little stinking porch light, one light bulb out there on the porch, right? Maybe there was two. Not a lot of light. So the vehicle was gone. It's probably now something like three in the morning, something like that. And we have no idea what's going on. And Chase says, I wonder if they're planning a raid or something. He says, I'm going to go take a drive and scope out the surrounding area, see if they're staging anywhere. Well, I got a gate on the drive, about 1/8 of a mile in. When he crossed the gate, he got out and he closed the gate. He was gone for, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. He comes back and the gate is open enough for a man to get through. So that tells us that we had one of those son of a bitches trapped in the woods. He fired a shot at this guy, and he talked about how he could smell shit. Him and Rebel talked about how. So we had the son of a bitch trapped, and we didn't know it. If there were more eyes here, we probably would have had the son of a bitch. So the next day was court, and so I held court. That's all documented on YouTube. Now, about 2 months prior to court, I started getting air traffic. Now, I'm in an area that doesn't get air traffic, no commercial traffic, and very, very limited private traffic. And I'm getting these weird flyovers. And ultimately, I concluded that it was Coast Guard. That's my conclusion. So that was a couple of years ago. Now, 2 days before court, Chase and Reb went into Kalkaska, and I'm here alone. And 3 helicopters come in at treetop level. I've got mature pines, very, very mature pines, very tall, and I'm in a valley. So it's uphill like this, and then the very tall trees. These guys come in at treetop level, 2 Black Hawk helicopters with the gunship and a smaller bird. And I was happy. I felt good. I was like, yeah, right. I'm waving at them. And that excitement stayed with me. It didn't transfer over to the guys when they got back and I'm telling them about it. Well, the next day is the day before court. And they said, we're going to go down there and clear the weeds. The weeds were 3 and 4 feet tall. And we're hoping people are going to show up. So they went down there to clear weeds. So they're not down there for very long. And 2 Black Hawk helicopters come and buzz them down there at the court. Now, I could hear the bird. I could hear the birds, but I couldn't see them. I'm only a quarter mile away, but I can't see them because they're treetop level. Well, that was before court. Then, before court, the assassin team is here. Then we have court. Then, within a day or two, I think, in a very short period of time, it's nighttime. I hear the helicopters coming. They're announcing that they're coming. They're giving me a ton of warning that they're coming. And I got the phone out and I recorded it. 2 Black Hawk helicopters with bright spotlights shining straight down, flying over my head. And what did that say to me? My gut, my brain, my gut brain, my intuition said, the message is, good job, you're still alive, and we got your back. We got our eyes on you, and any chatter, anything that they can pick up, they're going to subvert. So I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still here to tell the story. So that's the third military flyover in less than a week. So there's more. There's 3 more. 3 more that happened in this time period. One of them just had my place shaking. I'm in a little 300 square foot construction trailer. And I'll go over to the door, open up the door to see this monstrous bird with 6 engines. I've never seen anything like it. Do the research on it. It's pretty much a one-of-a-kind bird. It's a Soviet-era bird. What is a Soviet-era bird doing buzzing my rooftop? Well, a guy like Derek Johnson will explain it to you. There's a global military operation going on. You got aircraft from all different countries in countries where they don't belong. So, again, don't believe me about any of this shit, because the only thing I believe is in me. I'm done believing anything. I either know or I don't know. And then if I don't know, I got to decide, do I care or do I not care? And if I care, then it's on me to do the due diligence and study and research and investigate until I'm satisfied that I have the truth, that I have the answer, that I have the knowledge. So this is my mindset. So that 6-engine Soviet-era bird, all the critical thinking in the world, the only thing that can add up for me is the kind of information that Derek Johnson brings forward. And so then within a day or two, 2 military helicopters, the kind that carry, like transport helicopters, they carry a lot of men or carry equipment. And then I'm pretty sure there was another one that I don't know how to describe. I can't quite remember how to describe that last. So this all happened within about a week of court. All right. These flyovers continue to this day. Now, so that's the summer of 23. It's the summer of 23. Summer of 24. Smoking a little weed now. Summer of 24. I went down to the court and I gave authorizations to Michigan Military Command, and I put it up on YouTube. The next day, I'm standing outside, and here come 4 military jets in what's called a fingers 4 formation. Very, 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 very low. About as low as they're going to go. I mean, low. And right over my head. And they came in where I get the long view. And I was pumped. I was so pumped. I was like, wow, man, this is really something. But I was in no position to film it. Nobody here to experience it or witness it but me. Last year, I started creating a landing zone for the military. I had so many military helicopters around here and so much air traffic. Obviously, the military is communicating with me, obvious to me, not obvious to anybody. In fact, everybody says you're full of shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're delusional. And there's not very many of those because I'm extremely isolated. But that was like, nobody believed. And I don't want you believing. I want you to know or not know. So you can get a leaning. Trust has to be earned. Once you find a trusted source, you might get a strong leaning that some people might say a belief, but don't believe. You lean and lean and lean until you lock it in. So I went up on the roof after getting the landing zone operational, large enough to be operational, and I gave authorization to Michigan Military Command for use of the landing zone and authorization to port in. Now, when you are authorized and you are duty bound, what is it a dereliction of duty if you don't perform? So I was up on the roof, sitting in a chair with the camera and a tripod. I end the stream. I fold the tripod. I go over the ladder. I'm coming down the ladder. I still have several steps to go. And here comes one military jet, where I get the long view. It was like another salute. You can research what a fingers four, the meaning of a fingers four is. There's different meanings depending on the scenario, but this would be in the scenario of praise from above. And you can figure that out for yourself. The meaning of a fingers four flyover in the condition it was. So this year, I greatly expanded the helicopter landing zone. I greatly expanded it. And I worked on it for a couple of months. And I'm basically wrapping it up. And I'm at the north end. And I'm out there with the truck and I got the phone. And all of a sudden, I see a formation coming. It's 3 jets. The one in the middle is in lead. One side is back, and then on the other side, a little further back. These guys, from where I was, I have a very long view from west to east. And they're coming in with trail, dropping trail, like what you would think of as a chemtrail, a trail that's going to stay in the sky. But I say these are not chemtrails, these are comm trails, these are communication trails. So they come in, they do a direct flyover right over my head, and they are high. I mean, they're like way up there. This isn't like the fingers four where they were real low and right over my head. And they got the trails because they want to be seen. So I'm filming this. I'm getting this all on film, and they disappear out of view to the east, and then all the trails at that point dissipate, and they're gone, except directly over my head. Directly over my head, there's 3 very short trails, and they're side by side. 3 of them. But the birds weren't side by side. So you got to think about, this is a comm. This is a praise from above. It's called a VIC, and it's a precursor to the fingers four. Do your research if you care, if you want, if it interests you. It's called a VIC, and it's the precursor to the fingers four. So they went old school on me. They made a spectacle of it. And then they went high tech because it left 3 trails side by side directly over my head while all the other trails dissipated. And that's available on YouTube and Rumble. And I sent it to Chris. If Chris has the ability to play it for you during this, it's there for him. Chris, are you there? Are you there, bro? It's like, this says I'm live, but I'm the only one on the screen. I don't see comments. I don't see chat. I don't see anything. Christopher, are you there? All right, so we'll switch subjects. I have recovered now from over 40 chronic conditions because of having my toxic teeth removed. And then I had a tooth abscess. So I got another dead tooth that I got to get out of my mouth. And I can't get to a dentist. And eventually the pain goes away. So I'm not in pain, but I know I got to get this tooth out. Well, about the time of the court of law for the American people, I'm in pain. And I think what's going on is I got a root tip coming up. Because these dentists are trained that it's okay if the root of the tooth breaks off, it's okay to leave it in there. Just leave that dead thing in there. It's okay. So I have always insisted that if I get a root tip break, that they go in and dig and get it. So I thought I had a root tip because I had something very sharp on the inside of my gum in the back that was ripping my tongue like a sandwich toothpick, sharp like a sandwich toothpick. This was really, really aggravating. If I talk, if I swallow. So I call my dentist and asked, do you still offer same-day emergency service? And they said yes, but you need to wait a week for your same-day emergency service, which is very odd. Because the same-day emergency service was always, you get here as early as you can. If we can get to you during the day, we will. But if at the very least, we will take care of you before we leave. And but now I got to wait a week. And transportation at this point is a huge issue for me. I rented a car from a friend and drove to the dentist. They wanted me there first thing in the morning before they open. I walk in, they said, Ethan, we'll give you an emergency evaluation, but no service. I said, well, then why am I even here? She's writing down phone numbers saying, here's some phone numbers you might want to call. At this point, I'm driving back to Kalkaska to go to another dentist where I am an established patient that advertises same-day emergency service. And they have 4 dentists there. And where I was, Dental Clinics North, first, they have several dentists there. So I go to Bird Street Dental, and I'm there. It's probably 8:30 in the morning. They asked me if I can come back later that afternoon, and they gave me a time, somewhere around 2 o'clock. They asked me to be 20 minutes early. I came back, I was 10 minutes early. I sat in that lobby for a long time. Eventually the door opens, a woman sticks her head out and says, Ethan? Yeah, she says, do you know we canceled your appointment? I said, no. I said, why did you cancel my appointment? They said, because you were 10 minutes early. And we wanted you here 20 minutes early. So we canceled your appointment. But we've given you a new appointment. You can come back now. All right. Now I'm dealing with the dentist. They've done the panoramic X-ray, which is very expensive. They've done the individual X-rays, and he says that's not a bones. That's not a root tip. It's a bone spur. I said, "Oh, can you please knock the tip off of that bone spur?" No. Nope. Nope. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything to relieve the situation here. I said, well, I had a tooth here, abscess a while back. I said, I really want to get this tooth out. He is leaning over. He takes his finger and pushes on it. He said, there's no sign there's anything wrong with that tooth. If there was, it would be loose. It would be pussy. Now, this is an older man. This is an experienced dentist. They got a huge staff, like 10 or 15. There's 4 dentists in there. I said to him, apparently, I didn't say this. Apparently, he doesn't know how to read an X-ray. He says, there's no sign there's anything wrong with that tooth. I said, where is your gentle pulse pulp detector? Oh, the look of panic on this man's face. The absolute look of panic on this man's face. It's a $49 tool, a $49 instrument. It uses a 9-volt battery. It puts an electrical charge through your tooth. So it's got a wire with a hook on it, a metal hook, not like a fish hook, it's a hook, and they put it on your lip. That's the ground. And then they touch the device to your tooth, and it's got a dial, 0 to 10. If you feel it on 1, you have a very healthy tooth. If you don't feel it on 10, you got a dead tooth. So I got this dentist there telling me there's no sign there's anything wrong with that tooth. Where's your gentle pulse pulp detector? The look of panic on his face. He's got a couple of women in there assisting him. He's scanning back and forth at him. He's like, where is that thing? Really? You got a staff of 15, 4 fucking dentists, and nobody can find the gentle pulse pulp detector? How about you don't even own one, you cheap ass son of a bitch? See, this is another problem with dentistry. They put crowns on living teeth, and then they never check to see if the nerve died. And that was my worst tooth. I had a lot of root canal teeth. And then I had that dead tooth that was never root canal. So I said, at this point, I said to him, I said, man, I don't want to lose any more teeth. I'd really like an evaluation. Do I have any degraded fillings? Do I have any decay that needs to be taken care of? He says, well, in order to do that, you got to have a tooth cleaning. I said, okay, I want a tooth cleaning. He said, no, we're not going to clean your teeth. No, we're not going to pull your dead tooth. No, we are not going to knock the tip off of your bone spur. We racked up a really nice bill here today with the panoramic X-rays, the other X-rays, the staff, the office call. Here's what I want you to do. He says, do you chew tobacco? I said, yeah, I chew tobacco. He said, I want you to stop chewing tobacco and come back in 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck is, if I stop chewing tobacco, how is that going to help anything? Huh? How's that going to help anything? I don't know. So they don't give me a 2-week appointment. They give me a 30-day appointment. Keep in mind, I'm in pain. I am miserable, and I got a dead tooth in my mouth that is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year toxic factory. Shortly after my appointment, I receive a text message. want me to fill out a customer satisfaction survey. I declined. I said I might later. I said, but I said what I said. And this started a text message exchange that went on for very close to 30 days, where they never answered a single question of mine. Now, I'm not being adversarial. I'm not giving them any reason to be treating me the way that they're treating me. And I gave nobody, and I didn't give any of these dentists any reason to treat me the way. In fact, Dental Clinics North, back in 2016, we're going to go back like, 5 years from this point where I'm telling you this story? More than that. It's a better part. Anyways, a long time. 2016, I got an email from Dental Clinics North that if I ever talk about oral health with cannabis in their office again, I'm barred for life. So I can't talk honestly with my dental health care provider. I cannot speak honestly. I am gagged, and I am threatened to be barred for life. No service for you. If you ever talk about this in our office again. So I didn't. And so I've never given any of these people any reason. I've never attacked them. I've never done anything. I mean, they have been doxxed, but they weren't. They weren't until after all of this that I'm telling you. So as Dental Clinics North in Mansalona and Birch Street Dental in Kalkaska, we are a day or two away from my appointment, and they have not answered a single question. I've asked, can you please schedule a cleaning and a tooth extraction at the same appointment, because transportation is a big issue for me. And they would never respond to that. They would never answer that. Will you have a Gentle Pulse pulp detector available to do an evaluation on this tooth that I claim is dead and infected and toxic and needs to be the hell out of my mouth? They wouldn't answer it. They kept saying, call. I'm not calling. I like this in writing. So, a day or two before my appointment, they canceled my appointment. No just cause. They just decided to cancel my appointment. Now, I had been collecting these text messages, and now it's a good thing that I had copied and pasted them into email and then sent them to myself. So I got them in the outbox with one email and in the inbox with another email, plus they're on my phone. Well, it's a good thing I did that, because one day I had the phone in my hand. And I'm lining up on something that's a close-up that I'm going to do on the counter, and I'm going to have the phone zoomed in on that. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to set the camera up. And while it's in my hand with the camera open and I'm gauging, it says erasing. The screen goes black and it says, well, it's something like that. It might not have said erasing, but it was doing a factory reset. It deleted everything off of my phone. That was another attack. I haven't even talked about some of this stuff. The book burning. Oh my goodness, a lot of book burning. But I'll try and stay focused here on this. So I decided to I told them I scheduled a call with the text message. I scheduled a call. When I called, there was nobody there to take my call. I mean, the dentists were not available. The office manager was not available. Now, this is a scheduled call. They had plenty of time in advance to be ready. So this is live public call on YouTube. And in the description of that video, I pasted the entire text message. So then I spent a year trying to find a dentist, and I'm having no luck. And Humana is not helping at all. In fact, Humana went live on YouTube, public recorded call with Humana, just like I did with Birch Street Dental, just like I did with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And because Humana is now involved in insurance fraud. They're involved in insurance fraud. And there were other issues, like they've got the all caps, they've got the all uppercase or all caps lettering on my Humana card. And I'm telling them that when I contracted with you, I gave you a quantum autograph. All right, your contract is with a man, not a fictitious corporation, and this is mail fraud. And the penalty for mail fraud has been increased from like $250,000 per occurrence to $1 million per occurrence, and from 5 or 10 years in prison to 30 years in prison, something like that. There was a huge change. And Humana's response to me is, we are mandated by Medicare to use a fictitious name. So that's their excuse for their criminal activity with the bar agents, including mail fraud. And so I had multiple live conversations with Humana. They create a ticket number, but I call back. There's no ticket numbers. They have no record of the ticket. I said, well, you can listen to your agent giving me the ticket numbers on YouTube, because it was a live public call, just like this is a live public call. Oh, no. We're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to use a computer. I said, your agent, I play it. I play it for them. Oh, we have no record, right? So Humana has absolutely worked against me. So about a year has gone by, and I got a phone call, said, Ethan, I can get you an appointment. And he said, let's talk after the holidays. This was very close to Christmas time. Well, after the holidays, we didn't talk. And about another year has gone by, and I am near out of my mind with all this fuckery and this tooth. And I called him. I said, can you really get me an appointment? He said, yeah. So this is when I learned that Humana has a database that lists every dentist in every location. And it also says whether that dentist is accepting new patients or not. It also says whether or not that dentist is in network with Humana. So this man, an insurance agent, has this tool available to him and the option to backdoor an appointment for me. And it took him a couple of phone calls, but this is the way it goes. I'm so-and-so with such and such, and I'm here at the Humana database, and it shows that you're in network with Humana. Is that correct? Yes, it is. It also says you're accepting new patients. Is that correct? Yes, it is. He says, I'm trying to help a man get an appointment. Do you think we can get him an appointment? Well, yes, absolutely. Just have him give us a call. Well, when I called, they couldn't have been, this woman could not have been, well, yeah, she could have been worse. But she was nasty. And I couldn't get service. The only thing I could get was an evaluation. I'm like, no, I don't want an evaluation. I need service. So ultimately what happens is after stewing on this, I decide I'm going to call the office manager. And the office manager actually listened to me. And then the office manager went to bat for me. And then I got an appointment for a cleaning and an evaluation. And ultimately, it was determined that 2 of the teeth would be crowned. And I was told when I left that the office manager would be contacting me with a new appointment for the crowns and an appointment with the oral surgeon. A week goes by. Another week goes by. Time keeps passing. I'm like, this is crazy. So I pushed. They gave me the appointment for the 2 crowns and messaged me to tell me that I'm on my own to find an oral surgeon. You're on your own, boy. So back to this nightmare. So I got back with the office manager and I said, look, Humana has worked against me for years. Humana has happily engaged in mail fraud. Insurance fraud. And also claims that they're mandated to do mail fraud by Medicare. I said, I can't get anywhere with Humana. So ultimately, they contacted Humana, got into the database, and found me an oral surgeon. Now I got the 2 teeth crowned, I got my dead tooth pulled, and when they pulled that tooth, it was like getting smelling salts. I mean, it was terrible. The stink from that infection. And of course, now I told the guy, I said, if it breaks, dig it out, and please suture it up so I don't get a dry socket, because I suck. I suck a lot. I smoke like a chimney. I smoke. I'm always sucking. I don't want a dry socket. Please suture it up. He pulls out this syringe and he says, I got this stuff. He says, I put this stuff in there to clot. I said, no. I don't want any of that. I pulled a syringe out of my pocket of my oil. And I said, this is what I want going in there. So anyways, I got all that done. And the strange thing is, I walked out of that office without one piece of paper. They didn't give me one piece of paper. They didn't send me anything, email or text message. I got nothing. But at least I got that damn tooth out of there. And so now I'm thinking, okay, things are okay. Well, here, about a month ago, my tongue alerts me to the fact that I got a problem. And I look, and one of the crowns is the back is peeled right off, and it's got these sharp edges. And so I call the dentist and let him know that that's going on, and that also that I've got a food trap and it shreds the dental floss. And I said, I thought I would just live with that, but now the crown is falling apart. So they scheduled me an appointment and said if it needs to be replaced, they'll replace it. Well, the appointment was about a week out, and so on a Thursday night, that crown completely obliterated. Christopher, are you there? That crown completely obliterated. And it's around midnight. I don't know if they have emergency service or they don't have emergency service. And so I call, and they offered an option, push 1 for this dentist, 2 for that, 3 for that, 4 for that. So I picked my dentist. I left a message that this thing had disintegrated. And so I'm thinking it's Friday night. And that they're closed Saturday, they're closed. All these dentists are closed on the weekends. So, and then I'm up pretty much all night. I maybe got to sleep around 5 or 6 in the morning. And I probably woke up somewhere around 9 o'clock, used the head. And so I'm kind of groggy, right? The phone rings. It's the dentist office. And the girl says to me, she says, Doc says that tooth has too much decay and bone loss to save it. So we're going to schedule you with the oral surgeon. I'm thinking, what the fuck? I keep them. Now, I've been kind of in a fog and a bit of a dark spot, and I listen to this and I hang up the phone, and it's not settling with me. I have a 2-page PDF evaluation of my mouth. 2-page. And that tooth they're now telling me that they put a crown on, has too much tooth decay and bone loss to save. This must be the reason why the crown disintegrated, not the tooth. Right, I'm being facetious. So Monday rolls around, and I write to the dental office that only weeks ago, that tooth was proposed as an anchor for a bridge. That tooth was proposed to be crowned and used as an anchor for a bridge. And then we put the crown on it, and now you're telling me this? I said, you're lying to me, and I know you're lying to me, and this is absolutely unacceptable. Well, I also said some other things. I said that in a Rico theater, a theater of Rico, I hope that you will make wise decisions. Well, they responded for me to come in. They scheduled me the appointment, and I went in, and I got a new crown put on that tooth. Now, it was from Thursday night until Wednesday, I had this tooth all ground down, all exposed, no crown. And so I use xylitol. Xylitol kills the bad bacteria that causes the plaques, which causes the decay. It contributes. And my oil. I kept coating. And so I told the dentist, like the day, I wrote that email that I sent that I hope you make the right decision. I sent that like the day before my appointment. And knowing that they very well could have just decided to cancel my appointment. Say, you're trouble. You're trouble. We don't need your kind here, right? But I think that line of in a Rico theater, I hope that you will make wise decisions. And so I was not threatening. I was educating. And I think that scared the shit out of them. And so they treated me well. They did. But the dentist comes in and right away took a very strong posture and a strong voice and said, he used the name, I'll make up a name. This is fictitious name. Susie did not lie to you. I'm like, well, she told me that you said that there was too much tooth decay and bone loss to save the tooth. And he said, Ethan, he said, the message that you left gets translated into text. And you can't believe, he says, I'm listening to this, it's going wah, wah, wah. And he says, I'm sitting here thinking, look, Ethan is drunk messaging me at 1 o'clock in the morning. He said, and then he said, it's absolutely nothing like your message. Well, I never in my message said that there was too much tooth decay and bone loss to save the tooth. And he said, what he said to me, he says, I was simply repeating what you said to me. And I said, in today's modern communication, this is what we deal with. And at this point, he started laughing, and his whole posture changed. And then he spent 3 hours on this tooth. And I told him that I would be using Everclear to remove the cannabis oil. I was hoping that cannabis oil was not going to be an issue for reattaching a crown. That was a concern of mine. As it turns out, it was all good. In fact, he even said, you did a good job getting oil off the tooth. He did not have a tooth there to use for molding, so he had to use he wanted to use some more modern technique of scanning, and he's got this scanning tool, and he's having all kinds of trouble. And he said, your teeth are so shiny that it doesn't want to pick it up. It doesn't want to read. And then he said, and it doesn't like the black either. So where I have white fillings, they have so much stain on them, they're black, and they won't come clean. The best they'll come is like brown. And so he said, we're going to have to go old school. Well, ultimately, I got the crown, and man, he did a lot of work on that tooth. I'm serious. I mean, he did a lot of work on that tooth. He ground, and then he applied this and applied that, and then the light, and applied this and applied that, and more grinding, and mumbled something about decay in the process. So there's no way that tooth decayed from the time that crown came off or fell apart, and the time I was there. That was decay going on because that crown had a shitty fit from day one, and it was a lousy fucking crown, lousy material, designed to fail. And so this is the kind of shit that I go through. But I think I've got a good tooth now. It ended, he says, you have a very strong tooth now. He said it's stronger than the ones on either side, so I'm going to leave it a little bit proud. And my thinking was, we never discussed it, but I was having thoughts that maybe it should be a little bit low. But he told me, he said, you got a very strong tooth now. I'm going to make it a little proud. So, so that's where I'm at. Now, here recently, I came to the realization that my patent is now expired because maintenance fees are due at like 3.5 years for the first one. And I would have had to, my last opportunity to save that would have been this last spring. But somehow I had it in my head that it's 6 months, but let's talk about loss of patent. I lost the PCT, which means I lost all international patents. And then from that point, those 2 bar attorneys that became my partners, they got 50% of my intellectual property. After they made sure that I lost the international patent rights and they did their best to gaslight me and failed, I have not heard a peep from either of these fucks. But the whole time there was a continuation patent, and the patent office denied the patent. Now there was a strategy for that patent to issue. If you take a look at my patent, it's page after page after page, double-sided, small print, a shit ton in there. And the only difference between the patent that issued and the patent that was pending was a couple of words. The date would have changed, the patent number would have changed, the title of the patent would have changed, and then the words calcified plaque removal and calcified plaque prevention would have been replaced with prevention of gum tissue loss and rejuvenation of lost gum tissue. Otherwise, everything else stays the same. The formulation stays the same. Everything stays the same, except for, that's the difference. That's a new patent. We got calcified plaque removal, calcified plaque prevention. We got gum tissue rejuvenation and prevention of gum tissue loss. And it was strategized to use the same formulation because in that, there's other formulations, non-euphoric formulations, and I had discussed this with the patent attorney, and ultimately the decision was, we want this to issue, let's do it this way. And it made perfect sense to me. So that should have issued, but the patent office denied it. I decided, all right, I'm going live, YouTube, public call with the patent office examiner. I told him this is a live public call. He said, you're kidding. No. Well, there's no audio. There's no audio on the video. So that's more book burning. What other example of book burning? In 2016, when I filed the patent, the ADA had responded to say they will not look at this unless an ADA dentist recommends it. I sent my science to the National Institute of Health. The National Institute of Health ignored my science and funded a research project titled Revolutionizing the Root Canal, and funded $1.8 billion with a B, $1.8 billion to rejuvenate gum tissue In 2019, they released the results. Fail. And I'm talking about this, and people start checking me. So, well, they had to burn that too. That's been completely wiped from the internet. That information is no longer available. The only thing that's there is with referring to that title is a $1.8 million study. But you see, this is a 5-year study. The 1.8 billion was a 3-year. It went from 2016 to 2019. Christopher, where are you? You're supposed to be here with me, bro. You're supposed to be here with me, and don't we have any comments in the chat? People want to know something? Huh. I don't even know if I know how to end this. 2 hours and 30 some minutes. You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. But I don't know. I don't see a way to end it. I don't see any controls. Oh, I do see controls. Remove from stage, edit name and headline, edit avatar, stop mic. All right, so, all right, time comes, that can happen. So, to date, I'm very proud of the fact that I am the world's leading authority on oral health with cannabis, and I've held that title now for 10 years. The ADA is very proud of 40 million needless root canals every year in America. In the 10 years I've been trying to bring this forward, 400 million root canal teeth. Needless, because we can prevent tooth decay. In many cases, teeth can remineralize and repair decay. Christopher, where are you? How come I'm all alone here on your show? I could use a break from talking. There's so much I could say, so much I could talk about, so much information on this. In December, which is only weeks away, it'll be 2 years. I've had signage out at the road. Free weed, free seed, free plants, free clones. Text 231-624-3037. And 2 years, huge signage. Flags, advertise on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram. How many takers? How many takers? 0. Why? Because nobody wants to be targeted because they support me or associate with me. That's why to put a thumbs up on one of my videos or put a comment in one of my videos takes big cojones, takes a spine. A lot of people are afraid simply to watch my videos because Big Brother's watching. And there isn't a bar attorney that will pick up any of my cases and run them in that rogue fiction slave system. There's trillions of dollars of damage. Trillions with a T. And these greedy parasites They can't touch it because they will get disbarred. They will have their lives destroyed and be disbarred. So there's no justice to be had. I've been to Tom Fitton. I've got mail from the Department of Justice. All right, ain't nobody gonna stand up. Every dentist, every doctor, every healthcare provider of any fashion, naturalist, no pro-cannabis politician, no pro-cannabis, no cannabis attorneys work against me, right? And when I lost international patent rights, I went live and begged anyone outside of America in the cannabis business to bring it forward, bring it to market. Nobody. They're scared to death of being targeted. So this was not my goal. This was not my goal to be surrounded by fear. But I got an email from my patent attorney talking about how I should just shut up and license. It's not good to be a whistleblower. It's not profitable to be a whistleblower. Just shut up and license before the fear mongering makes you someone that no one will do business with. That yes, you're correct. The Patent Office examiner was likely corrupt and in cahoots with industry players, and they are likely still scheming against you. I have this in writing from the patent attorney prior to me putting him in court. Yeah, there was pressure going on, but those are his words. And it was too late. I mean, this is after Jamaica. I've already become, back in 2019, I was somebody that no one would do business with. It's been years since I've had an evaluation. I rolled up 300 joints. I still have them. I haven't been able to give away a joint or a seed or a nothing. No evaluation on the mouth rinse. Christopher, where are you, bro? I am all alone here. And what time is it? It's 12:42. Maybe Christopher went to bed. Well, at any rate, Christopher, thank you for giving me this platform. I have a lot more to say, but it would be helpful to have some interaction. Give me a chance to collect my thoughts, focus on any one of these points that I have brought up and talked about. But at any rate, people, I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for y'all. The military knows it. The military is in communication with me on a daily basis. My Rumble is Oral Health with Cannabis. And most of the Skycoms are over there. There's a few on YouTube, Citizen Science Oral Health Project. My website has been hijacked by GoDaddy now for a couple years. I cannot edit my website. The last edit that was done was by GoDaddy, and they put the prosecution of Birch Street Dental video on the page. I can't do that. I should be able to do that. I built the website. So I've been live, public, recorded calls on YouTube with GoDaddy, and I get nowhere. So my site has not been edited for a couple of years, but there's enough information there that I leave it up. On the services page, in the documents section, you can find 2 PDFs, Camp Grayling Gretchen. That's actually one file, but the scanner could only take so much paper in one scan. So that's a big file. But if you want to see what I put on Camp Grayling, which is their case, and then all the other cases, as evidence. That's there. You want to look at the state constitutions? That's 48 love letters. That's titled 48 Love Letters. And then there's some other stuff there. But at any rate, I don't know. I'm all alone here on Christopher's channel. It says it's live. So we'll see. I hear music. I've heard music playing this whole time in the background. That's not me. But at this point, I am going to, again, thank you, Christopher. Much love to all of you. I appreciate you taking the time to take in this content. And I'm going to remove myself from the stage.